nights of wine, bright blessed day, dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
So please have a seat. Welcome today to our International Chapel, and as we begin, I want to acknowledge all the work of the International Department over this week, the wonderful week we've had. So we've had amazing food and dance and colour and national costumes, and it's really been fantastic. So thank you to the International Department, also to all of these international students who have worked so hard. So I'd like us to acknowledge them. The song you heard as we were walking in this morning was chosen by Mrs. Madeira because it reminds us of what a wonderful world we live in. And we can be thankful not only for the natural beauty around us and all the amazing things we can see, but the beauty that is in all the different cultures and different languages and different people groups in our world. And we're remembering that and being thankful for that as we start into our International Chapel. We're starting with an item with a song from the international students, and I'm sure you'll recognise it. Here we go. Canada is bringing us the reading today.
Acts chapter 2, verses 1 and 2, 5 and 6. When the day of Pentecost came, all the believers were gathered together in one place. Suddenly there was a noise from the sky which sounded like a strong wind blowing, and it filled the whole house where they were sitting. There were Jews living in Jerusalem, religious people who had come from every country in the world. When they heard this noise, a large crowd gathered. They were all excited because all of them heard the believers talking in their own languages.
Okay, so some years ago, we can even get this slide. Some years ago, I had the opportunity to visit a good friend of mine, Sharon, who lives and works in rural Papua New Guinea as a missionary doctor, deep in the jungle there, quite near the border with West Papua, which is now used to be called Irian Jaya. So staying there, I wanted to learn a little bit of the local language because I think that's respectful. The language group where Sharon is working is called ACU, and there are only 7,000 people in the world who speak that language. There are 850 different languages in Papua New Guinea. It's got the most number of different languages of anywhere in the world. So there are only 7,000 people who speak this language. If we take the population of us here in this room and consider your parents and your grandparents, we're already halfway there to that number of people. So I learned a little bit of ACU, and I learned to say Ukondua, which is good morning, and Ukudua, which is good middle of the day, and Duandua, which is good afternoon, some basic greetings. And I asked Sharon, how do you say please in ACU? And she kind of hesitated and said, there's actually no way to say please in ACU. In fact, there's no grammatical structure to ask a question. You can say, tell me your name, or get me some water, but you can't ask a question. So then I asked, how do you say thank you? And she said, there's no way of saying thank you. She said, since the missionaries have been there, dua, which means good, has been used to mean thank you, but in the language itself, there's no way of saying thank you. And then I asked, how do you say sorry? And she said, there's no way of saying sorry. I was dealing with a culture that is so different and worked in such a different way, and a language that worked in such a different way from what we're used to. It's really hard for us to imagine being in this really different culture and the assumptions in the way that they live. I did get to visit into a village and stay a couple of days with friends in the village. This is Sharon's host mother, Mia, in the village. And there is a challenge living with people when you have such different cultural backgrounds and so little language. With that, however, they were incredibly gracious and hospitable to me. I was actually quite amazed how well they were able to be sensitive to whether or not I was comfortable with something, given how little language we had in common. One of the ways they were gracious to me is they made sure that there were 2 meals each day when I was there. They might otherwise only have 1, so they were trying to make me comfortable. Something that I've been really worried about before going into the village, in this culture, a way to honour guests is to feed them a meal of sago grubs. Sago grubs are big white grubs about that long. They're big fat white grubs. And then they toast them over the fire and give them to you. And I have to say, I actually prayed quite fervently that they would not feed me sago grubs, and thankfully they didn't. They did catch a cricket for me and toasted that over the fire. And my friend Sharon ate it for me, so I was also spared that. I would like to say I was really brave about different food, but I'm not as brave as I would like to think. So I was in this culture where I had the challenge of a different culture in a very different language, and seeing how amazing it is when people are hospitable and kind and welcoming and try to understand each other. Got that challenge there. In terms of the church calendar, last Sunday was Pentecost Sunday. Pentecost comes 50 days after Easter, and the reading Panada gave us relates to that. It's a time 50 days after Jesus died when people from a whole lot of different cultures and a whole lot of different languages were in Jerusalem. And Jesus' friends, his first followers, had a very unusual experience. Something so amazing, they thought, this is miraculous. They're saying something miraculous is happening because they had a sense of God helping them to communicate effectively with people from a huge number of different language groups. And they were really amazed because in that unity, when they all started working together and communicating together, they were amazed, with God's help, how much they managed to achieve, how much could be done in that context. Because we still see this today. We still have situations where we have different cultures and different languages, and we know there can be misunderstandings. And we see that around us in the world. And actually we see we don't even need to speak a different language or come from a different culture. We can still have misunderstandings. And we know how much hurt that can come about from that. And we can remember how much can be done, how amazing things can be, how much we can achieve with God's help when people work together in unity. So that's what we're remembering here today. Following on from this, we have some prayers, and Angie and Wong Yun are going to pray for us, prayers for others. So girls, can you come forward? Thank you.
Dear God, thank you for your goodness and for your blessings over us. Thank you for your great love and care. Thank you for your sacrifice so that we might have freedom and life. Forgive us for when we don't thank you enough for who you are, for all that you do, for all that you've given.
Help us to set our eyes and our hearts on your flesh. Renew our spirits. Fill us with your peace and joy. We love you and we need you, this day and every day. We give you praise and thanks, for you alone are worthy. In Jesus' name, Amen.
Thank you, girls. And we have Cindy giving us the last word.
I couldn't think of anything, even though I knew there's a heap of things that I should be thankful for. We are lucky to live in a place and a time that we do. Give thanks and be grateful. Whether we need to be reminded or not, we have so much to be thankful for. Even in deeply troubling times, we can be thankful for our friends, our families, and our Creator. We are all lucky to be in here, going to a wonderful school, receiving a well-developed education, living in such an amazing country, where we are all safe and surrounded by people we trust and love. I know this sounds a bit too general, but have you ever thought that we have been taking them for granted? Just a quick look at the news headline every day can make you wonder. How is it even possible that there are war going on every day? Many innocent people are suffering and getting killed before they have had a chance to explore and experience the world and make the best use of their life. When bad times strike, or when we get knocked off our feet for a while, we can feel that we have somehow been abandoned by God. And yes, I know sometimes it's really hard to be thankful when you are having a bad day. We think He has let us down, that He doesn't care about what is happening to us. Walking, hearing, and breathing. We never stop doing these things every day. All those tasks that we are able to complete so effortlessly are in and of themselves great blessings. Could it be these things actually come from the gracious, loving God who is looking out for us every one of our lives? And here we are with good health and good fortune that enable us to accomplish everything in our long journey of life. The Bible has much to say about sharing and giving with others. I've chosen the following verses, and you can see how we are expected to respond to others' needs. God has made it clear. If you give to others, you will be given a full amount in return. It will be packed down, shaken together, and spilling over into your lap. The way you treat others is the way you will be treated. Say thank you in advance for what is already yours. Say thank you for every moment that leads to this day. Thank you, Jesus, for not abandoning me, even in times when I have been far away from you. Thank you for everything that you have given me.
Please stand for the blessing.
ขอให้ความเมตตากรุณาของพระเยซูเจ้า ความรักของพระเจ้า รวมถึงการมีส่วนร่วมในพระวิญญาณบริสุทธิ์อยู่กับพวกคุณทุกคน
주 예수 그리스도의 은혜와 하나님의 사랑과 성령의 사귐이 여러분과 함께하기를 기도합니다.
どうか主イエスキリストの恵みがあなた方一同にありますように、神の愛と聖霊との交わりがあなた方と共にありますように。
愿主耶稣基督的恩典、上帝的慈爱、圣灵的感动常与你们众人同在。
Kia toa, kia tātou katoa. Te ātawhai o tō tātou ariki a iu karaiti, me te aroha o te ātoa, me te whiwhinga tahitanga ki te wai o tāpū ake, aneni.